It's been a big day in Scotland with important questions to be answered. The votes have been cast and now BBC One keeps track of the count.
Good evening. Tonight is an historic night for Scotland and for the rest of the United Kingdom. The referendum is over, and in the course of the night we will learn the answers to two questions. Do people want a Scottish Parliament, and do they want it to have tax-varying powers? If the answer to the first question is yes, it will herald the biggest constitutional upheaval in the United Kingdom since the partition of Ireland, paving the way for a Parliament in Edinburgh by the year 2000. A yes vote would change forever the complex relationships between Scotland and England. But if the answer is no, it is hard to imagine devolution at the top of the political agenda again, perhaps for a generation. The polls closed at 10 o'clock and counting is well underway in sports centres and town halls across Scotland. The votes have been counted local authority by local authority. There are 32 in all. The outcome of the referendum is decided by a simple majority on each question. Well, with the help of the NOP BBC poll, we'll be finding out how British the Scots actually feel tonight. And by an amazing coincidence, exactly 700 years ago tonight was another defining moment in Scottish history. The 11th of September 1297 was the day of the Battle of Stirling Bridge, an event given the Hollywood treatment recently in Braveheart. Well, we can't offer you Mel Gibson nor William Wallace tonight, but we can offer you the next best thing, Peter Snow.
Well, we'll be watching the votes piling up for and against the Scottish Parliament right the way across Scotland. The yes votes piling up in the green box, the no votes piling up in the red box over there. Of course, what matters is the overall picture from Scotland as a whole, but the local pattern of voting will be interesting too. And we'll watch all those local counts to see whether the columns representing the winning majorities are green for yes or red for no.
Tonight we'll bring you every result in Scotland. The centre of the action is the Edinburgh International Conference Centre, from where all the different council results will be coordinated. We're at counting halls across Scotland. This is Glasgow, the biggest count in the country. It covers 12% of the electorate, so that's one to watch. Some people there waiting for the boxes to come in, others already counting. We're at East Renfrewshire, which may be one of the first to declare in just over an hour. And in Aberdeen, we'll find out if the concerns the North East expressed last time round in the 1979 referendum, worries about domination by the Central Belt, are still a concern. And we're in Orkney, against devolution in 1979 by a majority of 3-1. Which way will Orcadians swing tonight? Well, back in the capital, we'll be tuning into the campaign party for the Yes campaign, Scotland Forward. We can see that they're dancing already, despite the fact we haven't had a single result in. And we'll be speaking live to some of the people who've kept vigil for Home Rule for the past 5 years at the foot of Carlton Hill overlooking Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Will their waiting end tonight? And as the votes start to clock up, we'll be joined from Westminster by an array of politicians, including John Redwood. We'll be in Cardiff, where they go through all this next Thursday when Wales holds its referendum. And we'll be in Mevergavissie and Cornwall to hear how the devolution debate plays in that part of the country. We can see there peaceful scenes in Cornwall tonight. No doubt everybody is inside, glued to their televisions. And in Newcastle, under the shadow of the Tyne Bridge, one area of Labour resistance to Scottish Home Rule in 1979, we'll hear the arguments for and against devolution for the north east of England. There we can see the Tyne Bridge there. And now we go to Edinburgh. Well, there's the scene in the capital tonight. Edinburgh Castle lit up. There was worries earlier in the day of bad weather, but it seems to be a fine night in Edinburgh. And indeed, a Scottish Parliament would be built in the capital. Early in the campaign, the Scottish Secretary Donald Dewar announced that a yes vote would trigger an architectural competition for a new Parliament building around the cramped and ill-equipped old Royal High School. Well, a short way away is the much more modern structure of the Edinburgh International Conference Centre. And it's there tonight that the final result of the referendum will be declared. More than 700 people will pack into the main conference hall to watch the votes mount up for yes and no. Anne MacKenzie is there. Anne, can you take us through what's going to happen in the next 4 hours?
Well, the simple answer, Kirsty, is a lot. As you said, all the results are going to be counted locally, and then they will also be announced simultaneously here by the central returning officer. And he is going to be the man who will formally, historically announce whether or not Scotland has voted for its own parliament and whether or not it's chosen tax-evading powers. And although all the seats here are empty at the moment, they will be filling up, as you said, with 600 or 700 of Scotland's great and good politicians, celebrities. Everybody at the moment, though, is milling about in the foyer where our reporter Alan Mackay is. He's going to be keeping his ear to the ground for us, and he's in close contact with the people behind the scenes who are running the referendum here tonight. Alan, what's happening there?